So the best way to understand and describe Donald Trump and his administration is they're like that abusive boyfriend, abusive husband who always hits you. And when they hit you / beat you, they say, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Now I have to hit you again. And when you look at the headlines today, it's like, look what you made me do. Now I have to fire all of you. That's essentially what it is. They're the abusive husband / boyfriend. This was the headlines today. Trump eyes firing thousands of federal workers over shutdown, and they're going to blame anyone but themselves. Look what you made me do. Now I got to fire everyone. This is actually from Fox News. The federal government will soon begin layoffs if shutdown continues. It may be tomorrow where they make the announcements. Listen to Karen Levitt, what she has to say.
It's likely going to be in the thousands. It's a very good question, and that's something that the Office of Management and Budget and the entire team at the White House here, again, is unfortunately having to work on today. These discussions and these conversations, these meetings would not be happening if the Democrats had voted to keep the government open.
Right, so they're going to try to blame the Democrats, even though they're the ones in power, and even though they're the ones that are, like, again, doing the firings. But that's been their plan all along. And then today they're tweeting out sombreros, I guess. It says our social media manager was furloughed, but almost Friday, sombrero. Like, why are we even talking about this stuff? But that's the mentality that they're in right now.
I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now,
listen to Mike Johnson talk about the whole sombrero stuff.
Many of you asked me this morning about sombreros and memes and why Hakeem Jeffries is all alarmed by that. But look, these are games. These are sideshows. People are getting caught up in battles over social media memes. We've got to keep this is not a game. We've got to keep the government open for the people. I don't know why this is so complicated. And to my friend Hakeem, who I was asked about, man, just ignore it. I mean, Gavin Newsom was trolling me last night. He painted me like a minion. He painted me yellow with big glasses and overalls. And I thought it was hilarious. You don't respond to it. For all my friends, R's and D's, don't respond to it. Get to work, do the people's business, and let's get on with it. Thank you all so much.
And this is where the USA is at, where we're arguing about memes on social media. And I'll just be frank with you guys, and many Americans get distracted by that stuff. They fall for that stuff, and then it's an all TV show / entertainment. And then Trump comes out and fires everyone and convinces his base that it's their fault, it's the Democrats' fault, it's all everyone else's fault. It's not Trump's fault. I have to fire you. I have to hit you again. It's all your fault. Look what you made me do. It's bizarre. Now that's Mike Johnson. You can see how he talks in public, but there's some interesting behind the scenes footage how he talks in private. Just listen to this.
The president is unhinged. He is unwell. What
are you doing? A lot of folks on your side are too. I don't control.
Oh my God, please. That performance in front of the generals,
I didn't see it.
is so dangerous. You know I serve on foreign affairs and appropriations. This is a collision of those two things. Our allies are looking elsewhere. Our enemies are laughing.
I just left
you
the
have a
speaker's
president
side.
who is unwell.
Just to be frank with you guys, anyone who is honest about seeing how Trump's decline and in public, right? We can all see he's unwell, physically, mentally, etc. It's obvious. And I'll tell you the truth. I saw Trump the first time around. He was crazy and such like that, but he didn't look as unwell as he looks today. I mean, it's obvious. He'll just go on and on and on about crazy stuff. He'll rant and his greatest hits all the time. Blame Biden this, blame Biden that, stolen election this, stolen election that, whatever. And it's obvious. But the Mike Johnson stuff, how they sort of pretend that this stuff isn't happening. Like, hey, did you see the speech to the military generals? Oh, I didn't see it. Right. It's kind of like ignoring a problem in your family. For those of you who have, say, a family member who's for any number of things has different problems, right? Y'all know this. You have someone close that has some sort of problems, and you try to talk to another family member about it, and they'll pretend like they don't know what you're talking about. So they won't directly refute it. They'll say, oh, I didn't see that, or I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, or it's no big deal. That's sort of how this is. And the more that I see this stuff, and it's just becoming more apparent how Trump's administration, you can talk about the Republicans, it's like this dysfunctional family with a lot of family members that got serious problems, and you try to confront them. They're like, hey, y'all need to get some help. They'll just pretend like it's no big deal. Oh, it was my fault. I'll try to do better for my husband next time. It's that kind of mentality.
fix this problem. And look, we have $0 coming into the federal government right now because the Democrats shut it down. So what Russ Vought is working diligently on is examining how we can fix this mess to ensure that critical funding continues, that we can get people paid. But the Democrats are making that very difficult. And that's why the president put out a statement this morning saying that we're going to start looking across the board at layoffs and at agencies that we feel do not best serve the American taxpayer, that may need to be halted or permanently cut.
So on that, I wanted to ask you about that because he mentioned Russ Vought in that. I think that came out about 8 o'clock this morning about cutting certain programs that they deem are not necessary. Is that real or is that a negotiating tactic?
Oh, it's very real. And the Democrats should know that they put the White House and the president in this position. And if they don't want further harm on their constituents back home, then they need to reopen the government. It's very simple. Pass the clean continuing resolution, and all of this goes away. We would not be having these discussions here at the White House today if not for the Democrats voting to shut the government down. This is an unfortunate consequence, and the president and Russ Vought will be meeting on that later today.
And this is the statement from Trump. And again, once you understand that they're the abusive boyfriend, it kind of all fits in, right? Oh, it's your fault. You made me fire everyone. Oh, it's your fault. You made me hit you, right? This is what Trump has to say. He says, I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, he of Project 2025 fame. And Trump tried before pretending to know what 2025 is, but he clearly knows, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, according to Trump. So I guess to Trump's point of view, protecting your food, like say the FDA, I guess that's a scam, or protecting your environment, like the EPA, oh, I guess clean water and clean air is a scam. Like Trump's going to throw all these ways to cut stuff. Remember, from Trump's point of view, he wants to deregulate, say, the SEC, these kind of things, so that he can get away with his crypto scams, whatever financial crimes, and money laundering, so that no one will find out. It's all about, putting money in his pocket for him and dismantling the government. I always mention this stuff with you guys because you have to understand the government plays a lot of roles to protect the American consumer. Trump is completely against this stuff. And so now I guess we're cutting as much as possible. He says he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent, I can't really believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. Like when he says opportunity, this is Trump's own words, you can see he's looking to fire people. And the thing with the Karen Levitt stuff, I think that their base must have like the shortest memory in history or something, because if you remember the whole Elon Musk Doge stuff, they wanted to fire everybody, right? They want to dismantle the government, fire everybody, and then they pretend like, oh, look what you made me do. But this is their plan all along, is they want to fire people. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. So according to Trump, firing everyone is making America great. You also have this behind the scenes, right? Senior government officials privately warn against firings during shutdown. Basically, what's going on is you have, a lot of legal. Well, there's a lot of problems. You have a lot of legal ramifications. If you just fire people on a whim, which essentially like, hey, half of you are gone, because there's gonna be so many situations where people are like, hey, I'm completely wrongly fired, and they're gonna bring lawsuits. There is a budget, I guess, for Trump's point of view, to where he has always, done his career, be it in real estate, casinos, or whatever, in politics, to where I guess a portion of his budget is to defend lawsuits, and it's very wasteful in that regard. My opinion on this stuff is, again, it's to create chaos, to cover up his financial crimes. But what's going to end up happening for a lot of these things is like they'll try to fire people, call them up, email, whatever, harass people, and then they'll get sent home, and then they'll realize, oh my God, we actually need these people, and then they'll be brought back, or they'll be like, oh my God, we're facing lawsuits, we better bring them back. It's just to waste time, money. It creates stress for everyone. No one can focus on anything other than what's going on with my job, which is completely understandable when you got to put food on the table, etc. But remember that Trump has no experience with that kind of thing. He has no experience with working a regular job and struggling. His point of view is like, oh, I had to pick up the phone and everyone else did the work, and oh, that was such a struggle, a day's work. It's just so ridiculous. And now I guess we're in an armed conflict / war, if you want to call it that, with the drug cartels. This is Fox News. They're putting out, Trump administration declares U.S. in an armed conflict with drug cartels. So I guess we're doing illegal conflicts now. Trump determined the U.S. is now in a war with drug cartels, Congress is told. And then also lawmakers on both sides press Pentagon on legal basis for cartel boat strikes. So already I think we've killed 17 people, and they're erasing the evidence, right? They destroy everything, so we don't know what's going on down there. And also want to make this clear, usually the standard operating procedures, you got this small boat going to who knows where, you say, turn the boat around, right? And if they don't, you shoot out their engines, basically, and then you board it or whatever. But, you know, we're spending $1 million to blow these things up. And basically, in my opinion, try to start a war, or I guess in Trump's opinion, we're already there. And so that's what we're doing here. And if you're curious what's Trump's grift today, I guess he's building a library. This is from Fox News. It says, Trump presidential library to be built in Miami after Florida gifts waterfront site. So I'm pretty sure Florida's not just giving something out of the kindness of their heart. I'm sure they're getting something in return. But that's how Trump and his mafia administration run things. What's interesting, though, is that the Washington Post did a poll recently asking, people, what do you think about who's to blame for the current shutdown? Let's see what it says. So Trump and the Republicans are to blame. So this is the question. Is mainly responsible for the federal government partially shutting down. 47% say Trump, the Republicans in Congress. 30% say Democrats in Congress, and 23% say not sure. So Republicans are getting mostly the blame for this. And then you can actually look at this one. This is actually interesting. It breaks it down by Republican, Democrat, or independent. Basically, and this is it says more than 8 in 10 Democrats and 7 in 10 independents say they're concerned about the shutdown, right? While fewer than half Republicans say the same. And what this shows you, so oftentimes many Republicans in sort of that MAGA camp or otherwise, if they're not told by Fox News to think of something important, then they just say, oh, okay, well, Fox News doesn't think it's important, then I guess it's not. But if you live in reality, when you're losing your job, your friends are losing their job, or their family members are losing their job, right? You will care. I mean, I don't get the whole Republican thing. Oh, it's not a big deal. And it's not just the jobs themselves. It's also the people who are affected by the cuts and slowdowns and delays and services that they need. And it's the effect on the communities, right? So when you remove people from the workforce, right, it's suddenly all the connected, be it contractors or services or whatever, are affected. So I guess from the Republican point of view, if the Fox News hasn't told me it's important, then I guess not. Shutdown, blame by party. So if you ask Democrats, 87% say that the blame is on the Republicans. If you ask the Republicans, they say 67% is on the Democrats. And among independents, which is key here, half of independents say blame the Trump and the Republicans. And this is always an interesting chart also, how blame compares to past government shutdowns or near shutdowns. So basically, throughout history, Republicans are often to blame for the shutdown. And that's where we are right now. But again, the Trump administration, et cetera, they're the abusive husband, abusive boyfriend is trying to blame you for, oh, look what you made me do. Now I have to hit you. Look what you made me do. Now I have to fire you. But ultimately, you guys need to break out of this abusive relationship and see what's really going on. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.